I need like a theme song. I gotta do something about that. Uh, I will, I'll work on a theme song. Get a little news song. Maybe a little darker. Maybe like a little minor chord. Maybe I'll work on that. I'll work on that in Logic. We'll get my little synth out. Make a little intro clip for everybody. Get everybody watching and involved. Welcome to News Shows for Those. I want to just start off right away by just getting into this clip. I was doing like research and trying to fact check just this one section, this one little clip that I want to play for you. And it was pretty easy to fact check. And I was just like, fuck it, I'll just do it during the live stream, because sometimes I think it's a little tedious and boring to do all this research while I'm live streaming. It also maybe makes me seem a little unprepared, but I kind of like the whole like let's do it together aspect of it. But I'm finding that it's much better if I just have some kind of rough idea and just kind of bookmark a couple websites before I get started. But but today I didn't watch this thing at all. It seemed like a train wreck. It always is. I wanted to stay away because it's just so enraging, and I didn't want to subject myself to that. So for something like this that I know is just going to be full of lies, I'll just rather just watch the clips and see what we could do from there. So this clip, again, I'm on Quiver Quantitative. I love this subreddit. These guys work really hard. I think they've got a great idea and a great just a great subreddit website. I like their philosophy. I like what they focus on. I think I share a lot of the same values as these guys. Yeah, so just scrolling through and I found this one clip that really I was like, oh, I could probably do a lot with this clip. So let's watch it. Let's watch it now and watch it together and roll our eyes and be disgusted at the state of our union. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be great.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
It's like, I don't even understand. Like, I don't. I just don't get it. I don't get that this is where we are right now, and this is acceptable. This is like the acceptable thing to do in in the pillar of our federal government. Just it's like a roast of it's weird. It's like hey, let's roast the unfortunate souls in the world, and let's bask in the money that we're saving, taking opportunity away from those less fortunate than we are. For somebody who wants to bring Christianity back into the government full form and establish the one true God and the one true religion of this country, it's very blasphemous, I would say, that you are encouraging the destruction of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs throughout the federal government. Because to me, those three words are kind of Christianity in a nutshell. So, it's all bullshit. So, anyway, here, let's start this again. But it's crazy. It's crazy that everybody's like laughing, like it's like a comedy roast. It's not, it's so serious what he's doing, but everybody, it just doesn't seem, it seems like a big fun and games thing to do, with our elected officials, especially on the Republican side.
And economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to...
And it's celebrating stupidity, right? Nobody knows what that is. You're part of the government. You've determined that this program is not needed, yet you don't understand what the program is. I mean, and let's all laugh at that. Let's laugh at our stupidity. It's insane. It's insane that this is where we are. This is where we are right now. I don't know what that is. He said that over and over again in the meeting with Zelensky too. I don't know what this is. I don't know when Crimea was taken over. I don't know. It's and these people around him celebrate it. Celebrate the stupidity of not knowing, being proud of not knowing. You have cut funding to this program and you don't even know what it is. You haven't talked to the people that have approved it. You haven't tried to understand what the program is. You just see a number. You see, you see trigger words, and that's enough for you to cut. And everybody laughs. Everybody laughs. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Nobody's ever. It's just more
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Columbian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
It's not real. I've quickly done some research on this. It was kind of hard to find an annotated version of the speech, but the one that I found most helpful was the CNN one. So just right off the bat, we're gonna go into this. It goes into this whole. We're gonna go into all of it. There's some stuff that on that clip that wasn't included, but here, this is the part. This is the part I want to focus on. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Columbian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. It's not real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion recently created decarbonization of homes committee headed up. I mean, this is him just being obtuse, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacy Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? All right. So CNN focused right on this making mice transgender thing, which everybody it has been debunked. From Trump's claim is false. Between the 2021 and 2022 fiscal years, the National Institutes of Health awarded a total of $500,000 to 3 projects that involved administering feminizing hormone therapy to monkeys to understand how it may affect their immune system and make them more susceptible to HIV. It is not clear where the 8 million figure came from or why Trump referenced studies in mice instead of monkeys. So, according to their fact checker, completely false. Completely false. But I wanted to just focus on this one part. I started with $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. So I fact checked that. I believe I got this from here. Yes, misleading. Trump's claims HHS spent $22 billion on free housing and cars for illegal aliens. While the Department of Health and Human Services has spent billions housing unaccompanied children apprehended at the U.S. border, many in shelters, only people with legal status are eligible for refugee benefits, subsidizing housing and transportation. So none of this money went to illegal immigrants. So right there, housing and cars for illegal aliens. None of that money went to illegal aliens. The money went to people that are here legally, immigrants here legally. It echoes a report by nonprofit Open the Books, which added up grants awarded by the Office of Refugee Resettlement inside HHS. Federal records confirm more than $26 billion from fiscal year 2020 to 2024. So this is not like we spent this in 1 year. We spent it over 20, that's 5 years, right? 2020, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. In 5 years, we spent $26 billion. So that's about $5 billion a year. All right, spent by the office in grants, subsidies, and contributions for refugee and entrant assistance. So, I mean, $5 billion a year, and that's totaling all grants, all subsidies, and all contributions for refugee and entrant assistance. Some of that includes money used to care for unaccompanied minors in U.S. custody. Both the Trump and Biden administration asked for billions from Congress to care for unaccompanied children. So this is money that Trump requested with Biden, and now we're in front of everybody pretending like we had nothing to do with it and pretending like it's going to people that it's not. Mr. Trump requested more than $5 billion. Right? Okay, great. But some of the office's spending also goes to food, shelter, and transportations for refugees. Like $36.3 million granted to Florida state government, reimbursing cash and medical assistance. Benefits include driving people to medical appointments or a dollar-to-dollar matching program for some refugees, saving towards home or car purchases. Okay. For unaccompanied children to receive these benefits, they need a legal status like asylee or victim of human trafficking in order to be eligible. The majority of arrivals eligible for refugee and entrant assistance in recent years were Cuban and Haitian people granted entry into the U.S. according to HHS budget documents. Around 20% were unaccompanied children. So these aren't. It's like, okay, so there's the first part, right? $22 billion for free housing and cars for illegal aliens. So it's about 25 billion over 5 years. About a quarter of it was requested by the Trump administration. It's not for illegal aliens, and it reimburses mostly children from Cuba and Haiti, not from South America or Mexico. Okay, so that's the first part. 45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. Okay, now here we go. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. Here we go. Here's the diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is really chaps my ass that that these are trigger words now, like diversity, equity, inclusion. Like, it's not so. But anyway, so let's take a look at these scholarships in Burma. Okay, so they're framing this, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion. So, according to the right, the diversity, equity, inclusion is unfairly advantage. It gives minorities an unfair advantage, right? We should all be treated equal. This is the argument, right? We should all be treated equal. And basically, the white man is at a disadvantage. The white heterosexual man is at a disadvantage now. And we need, because of these diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. So this DEI program is not in the United States. It's in a completely different country, Myanmar, Burma, that was plagued by a junta and engaged in ethnic cleansing about 5 years ago. The government was overthrown, and it's now controlled by the military. Genocide has taken place there against the Rohingya people. They've consistently faced human rights abuses by the Burmese regime that has refused to acknowledge them as Burmese citizens, despite some of them having lived in Burma for over 3 generations. They've been denied citizenship. They've attempted to forcibly expel and bring in non-Rohingyas to replace them. The policies resulted in the expulsion of approximately half of the 800,000 Rohingya from Burma, while Rohingya people have been described as among the world's least wanted and one of the world's persecuted minorities. So when we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in Burma, we're talking about an oppressed people that have been forcibly expelled from their country with nowhere else to go. Sound familiar? Yeah, right? It's happening somewhere in the Middle East, right? Or at least we're talking about it, and we're going to make a brand new, amazing resort right on the coast of the Mediterranean after we expel those unwanted Palestinians and relocate them someplace else. So yes, so that's Myanmar, that's Burma. So just fact checking this little sentence here. I found an article from February 3rd. Students from coup-hit Myanmar lament loss of canceled DEI scholarships. So Ma Fuel, I hope I pronounced that right, spent years working to protect ethnic minorities in her native Bago region in central Myanmar. She made her way through university and long hoped to get an advanced degree but though she was a careful saver, she had to care for her parents, and the cost of school was always out of reach. Um, so she got a scholarship through this program. The idea of, let me see. So speaking during a signing yesterday in the White House later that day, Trump referred to the scholarships as part of a list of canceled aid projects deemed wasteful by the new administration. We also blocked $45 million for diversity scholarships in Burma. 45. That's a lot of money for diversity scholarships in Burma. Sure. So here's the receipt, right? Here's the thing. So this is 45 million. And again, it's like they throw out this number. They throw out this number, and you would assume that this is like a yearly budget thing, right? Because that's how they frame most of it. That this is just the budget. This is the budget. I assume that these numbers they're throwing out to us are for this year. It's like a yearly thing, but it's not. And if you look at the paperwork, this period of performance start date. So I'm assuming that this went into effect on August 9th, 2023, and it was due to complete in 2028. So we're talking 45 million over 5 years, which is 9 million a year. In the grand scheme of things, in the budget, does not seem like a lot to me. And it seems to me like it's a pretty good cause. And I'm sure it was approved by Congress, right? Because Congress needs to approve all this spending. Launched in March 2024, the Diversity and Inclusion Scholarship Program was a 5-year project aimed at offering Myanmar students degrees from top universities in Thailand, Cambodia, and Philippines, and Indonesia, as well as online courses from the University of Arizona in the United States. Funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, the scholarship was intended to provide quality education opportunities for young community leaders in Burma, especially those from marginalized and vulnerable groups, DEI, as well as boost the capacity of regional universities, according to a press release issued at the launch, which has since been taken down. It's a pretty long article. Let's focus on, I highlighted this part. The scholarship had several key aims, including strengthening democracy in the long run by training future leaders, creating a favorable impression of the United States in order to counter China, and improving ties between Myanmar and its regional neighbors. So, I mean, it's like, so this all seems like a great idea to me. 5 million a year. What's the overall budget? Okay, let's crunch some numbers here. Annual U.S. budget. So last year, 6.75 trillion. So 6.75 trillion. This was 5 million a year. Okay, so let's see. So I gotta turn it sideways, I think. So 5 million divided by 750, right? So that is 5 million a year. This represents 0.074% of the entire budget. So we're spending 0.074% of the entire US budget on scholarships. All right, so I mean 0.074%. Where am I? Sorry. So 0.074% of the entire U.S. budget being spent on scholarship programs with the aim of strengthening democracy by training leaders. By training leaders from a diverse set of backgrounds in a country that has I mean, this map right here, these are all the ethnic regions in Myanmar. So there's a lot of diversity and ethnicity in Myanmar, and when you encourage people from those different regions to attend university and learn how to lead, I think that's part of the argument here. You train them to lead, and if they get their education through a grant from the United States, when these people become leaders of their country, they will have a more favorable impression of the United States instead of the other major influence, the neighboring China, and then also improving ties between Myanmar and its regional neighbors. When you train these minorities, these ethnic minorities, and give them more powerful positions in government, I believe the aim is you create a more united sense in Myanmar, and its regional neighbors view it more favorably when it can successfully execute government. So the word diversity reflected the program's goal to help staunch decades of ethnic conflict by ensuring all ethnic groups feel like they are being treated fairly and have a stake in democracy, the source explained. We really wanted this program to be politically neutral and merit-based, but merit-based with an eye to including everyone, giving everyone a fair opportunity. The Trump administration has deemed DEI programs illegal, and on January 20th, terminated them by executive order. The same day, he issued an executive order calling for a 90-day pause in foreign aid so that programs can be evaluated to ensure they adhere to the new administration's priorities. Look at this guy. God damn it. So it's unclear whether the Burma program was reviewed before its cancellation. I highly doubt that, since we go in front of the nation and loudly tout that we come on. Loudly go in front of the nation and loudly tout that we have no fucking clue what any of these programs do, and we mislead, and we all laugh at it like it's a big fucking joke, and it's so cool that we don't know the fucking thing that we're canceling.
Migrants, nobody knows what that is.
Right? So I seriously doubt that the Burma program was reviewed before its cancellation. I believe they saw the word diversity, equity, and inclusion and said, fuck you, money's going away. All right, so that's that one. 40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. I feel like there's some truth in this because when I searched this with Google, when I searched, I couldn't find any news on this program. It's kind of like, I mean, I feel like out of all of this, that's kind of true. I mean, I need to do a little more digging. Maybe I could find out. It's going to take too long. I'm not going to do it on live stream, but I feel like it'll take too long. But as far as I can tell, I need to dig a lot deeper, but not a lot of people do know what that's all about. But I'm sure when I find out, it's going to be 40 million over 5 or 10 years to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Sedentary means displaced, I think. Sedentary is tending to spend much time seated, somewhat inactive, mobile. Okay, so maybe that's 40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants means those that have some sort of disability, perhaps? I don't know. But I'll look into that, and if I find anything, I'll add it in the comments below. 8 million to promote LGBTQI plus in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody's ever heard of. Ha 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 ha. Nobody's, just fucking look it up on a map. You're the president. You're the president of the United States of America. Look that shit up on a map. Like Lesotho. Like, do this. See this? Do this. Lesotho. Right? Boom. There it is. On a fucking map. Right there. It's in the middle of South Africa. Oh boy. Boy, it's in the middle of South Africa. I wonder if Elon Musk knows where Lesotho is. It's like fucking crazy. It's ridiculous. Like that we're so proud that we don't know anything. All you need to do is fucking Google it. It's like nobody knows where that is. So like if you want to make fun of the country like nobody's ever heard of, like why don't you say 8 million to promote in the African nation of Lesotho, which we don't even want to do business with, or I don't know. But it's like fucking stupid. I can't believe that we're like proud idiots. Like being a proud idiot has infiltrated its way into the White House. It's so depressing. It really is. It's so depressing. I can't take it. But anyway, so yeah, let's learn about Lesotho. It's pretty easy. There's a lot of articles about it. It is a country. There are people living there, so there is news about it. So I found this article from NPR. Right? Ha 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 ha. So the country's foreign minister told NPR it was quite shocking for the head of state to make such a remark. Of course, so shocking. It's not really shocking anymore. It's kind of like, it's like, fuck me, right? This guy should just be like, fuck me, fuck this guy. So the government of the United States has an embassy in the capital. So is there an ambassador to Lesotho? Let's look it up. I'm curious. Lesotho ambassador. ambassador. Oh, ambassador. Yep. Tumisang Lesotho is the current ambassador of Lesotho to the United States. So there you go. So they have an ambassador. I don't know where it is. The Lesotho Embassy in the United States is located. Wait a second. Loading. Lesotho Embassy in the United States of America. There's the ambassador. What a great guy. We should reach out to him. I wonder if this is the kind of things like, why don't we contact, right? Could do that. I'm gonna reach out to him. There's an email address. Look, he lives right in DC. Look, the drop a line. So anyway, so look, right in DC. You can go talk to, you can go to the embassy. There's the White House. Let's get directions. So the White House. So it's a 10-minute drive. There you go. So you can get in your limo and drive 10 minutes with traffic, and get to the embassy and talk to the guy and see what's up. Where's my tab? Right here. Okay. So, has an embassy, adding that the two countries have had a long cooperation. He invited Trump to visit the country. At least one person attending the address on Capitol Hill could likely place the tiny country on a map. Elon Musk, Trump's South African-born advisor, who has been instrumental in dismantling the U.S. Agency for International Development. Just last fall, Lesotho's prime minister met with Musk and said they discussed internet access solutions in Lesotho. Ooh, so could this be a little, like a little blackmail thing? Like you want your funding back? Hire Starlink in the country? Perhaps, maybe, something to keep an eye on. So, first, to address Trump's comments, Trump said in his speech that the U.S. had sent $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody's ever heard of. Fuck you. Much of the money U.S. aid has sent to Lesotho goes towards HIV prevention. Lesotho is one of the countries in the world hardest hit by the AIDS epidemic. The United Nations says almost a quarter of the population is living with the virus. So we're spending $8 million to, so you frame it as an LGBTQ thing, right? But it's really to fight AIDS in the country. So slashing has sparked fears there could be a resurgence of the disease and people could die unnecessarily. One USAID-funded organization in Lesotho told South African media that the money had been supporting antiretroviral treatment for hundreds of people from the LGBTQ plus community living with HIV. Another group said that thousands of HIV-positive children and pregnant women would be left in the lurch. So, as the president and as the head of Doge, I'm sure a lot of people in your administration have heard of Lesotho. The embassy is a quick 10-minute drive down the road. And your bullshit statement, it's not promoting LGBTQI+, it's saving the lives of people in the LGBTQ community, as well as heterosexual people in the community with HIV and children with HIV. So that is the true statement. That's what should have been said. Moving on. $60 million for Indigenous peoples and Afro-Columbian empowerment in Central America. 60 million. Ooh, yeah, 60 million. So, let's look that up. I did. It was pretty easy. Let's see. I think it's this. Yes. It's an article from 2022, before we even canceled it. So, USAID's Indigenous Peoples and Afro-Columbian Empowerment Activity. Ethnic inclusion directly impacts Colombia's sustainable development. Studies have shown that countries can increase their GDP by $2.1 trillion every year by closing racial income gaps, while companies who commit to diversity are 152% more likely to innovate and see returns from their investment. For Colombia, whose population is 12.8% Afro-Columbian and indigenous, the returns from increased ethnic inclusion would be substantial. So I assume that that Colombia, like Brazil and like the United States and Mexico, have a sizable native and Afro population, right? That are in the minority. The natives are native, and the Afro population are either former slaves, are former slaves that were brought over from Africa and either used, for slavery in South America by the Spanish and Portuguese, or shipped up to the United States or somewhere in between. And then you have the majority population in these countries, which are descendants of the Spanish or the Portuguese. So these minorities are the Afro-Columbian and indigenous people. So studies have shown that investing in those communities and empowering them can show a really good return on your investment. So, ethnic chapter of Peace Corps. iPACE works with institutions or organizations implementing and monitoring progress on the 2016 Peace Accords ethnic chapter to ensure an inclusive peace-building process in Colombia. So iPACE, so I don't know too much about the history, but was there a war, right? And I don't know, right? And then they, oh shit, I don't want to look it up, but I should. Colombian peace. Colombian peace process, right? So there you go. Is the peace process between the Colombian government of President Juan Manuel Santos and the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, FARC. That's right. To bring an end to the Colombian conflict. All right. So there we go. So as part of the peace accords, I gotta find my tab again. This is it. Risk prevention, communications transformation, IP's partners, his vision, local approach in October, probably the first contract with Sarah. So, okay. So, Maybe I didn't. Okay, let's see. 60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Columbian empowerment in Central America. So, um, so I'll look more into this. I'll look more into this statement, but it appears to be, um, it appears to be, where am I? Let me find that. Don't. So sorry. Bear with me a little bit. I gotta find that. I gotta find that article again. Here it is. So, 60 million US initiative. So it's in this article. I gotta find it. So sorry. Where is it? I probably scrolled right by it. Okay, so I can find. Find. Where is it? Oh. There it is. Okay. It's right here in the beginning. I probably read it already. Okay, so this is it. So since 2011, USAID, this is it, have been working with and for Colombia's ethnic communities to guarantee their recognition, inclusion, and empowerment. There's that word, inclusion. Woo, woo, woo. Bad, bad, bad. And empowerment. The most recent manifestation of this commitment began December 1st, 2021, with the launch of a 5-year, $60 million initiative. Again, so 5-year. I mean, I guess this is almost done too, right? $60 million U.S. initiative called the Indigenous Peoples and Afro-Columbian Empowerment Activity. It partners directly with ethnic. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the whole thing. So, so 60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Columbian empowerment in Central America. 60 million. Ooh, wow. 60 million. Yes, but it's 60 million over 5 years to help empower those affected by the war in Colombia, the Colombian conflict, which began in 1964. So, like a 60-year off and on again war in Colombia, and we're investing $10 million a year. So $10 million a year, which $10 million a year, which is probably, what is that? It's probably 0.15% of the budget. Okay. And yeah. So that's that. $8 million for making mice transgender, completely fake. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. This is fake. This is fake. This is not real. It's not real. I made it up. I switched words around. I changed numbers. It's not real. 32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. All right, so this is where I stopped doing my research and decided to just go live. So let's look at this up. Let's look at this. So news. So yeah. Why didn't Trump mention Albania and Kosovo in his speech? Okay, so okay, we got this. Trump stressed joint session, government efficiency faces. Okay, so let's just do 32 million for Moldova. See, it's hard to look. It's hard to search for this. Uh, it's hard to search for this because it's, when you search the speech, it's full of shit. So Google can't find anything. So you have to get creative. Um, so this is probably it. Uh, EU supports rehabilitation of North-South Rail Corridor with 32 million. Oh, that's the EU. Okay. Okay. U.S. cancels over 30 million in funding for Moldova's media development. The funding, which was initially earmarked for promoting democracy, inclusivity. Oh, we're including people. No, cancel it. Cancel it. Oh my God. The funding, which is initially earmarked for promoting democracy, inclusivity, and accountability, is now being withheld. The money was also intended to support the creation of sustainable media institutions in the country. The decision comes amid concerns that the Trump administration's withdrawal of financial support for pro-democratic institutions and independent media could have significant political repercussions in Moldova. According to a Balkan Insight, this could potentially harm the prospects of Maya Sandu's Action and Solidarity Party in upcoming elections. So, this is not left-wing, promoting, I guess now, yes, it's left-wing because we're promoting democracy and we're promoting independent journalism. So let's see Moldova. It's a Balkan state. It is... Oh, it borders Ukraine. Oh my God. Look at that. Would you look at that? Borders Ukraine. Uh-oh. And I guess part of Russia. Where's that part of the Soviet Union? I think this is part of the Soviet Union, right? This is like that. Oh no, it's up here. It's right there. All right. So okay. So Moldova, look at Moldova conveniently shares most of its border with Ukraine. So we have taken away funding for independent media in the country. Would you look at that? Government. Republican President Maya Sandu has been president since 2020. Prime Minister, her government collapsed after a vote of no confidence. She was the Minister of Education, Member of Parliament of Moldova. So she won a landslide victory. So let's look up. Let's do this. We're getting off track here, but I like it. So we're going to go Moldova and Russia. Let's see what Google has. News. In underarm Moldova, alarm about an emboldened Russia grows. So, Moldova has increased defense spending since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. But as the U.S. pushes a peace deal that could favor Moscow, fears the country's security are mounting. Donald Trump's decision on Monday to halt military aid to Ukraine following his altercation with Vladimir Zelensky, the White House confirmed that Ukraine could now be forced into a ceasefire. The big winner of Trump's hostility towards Zelensky is clearly Russia. But what does this rift mean for Ukraine's small neighbor, Moldova? Russia's invasion of Ukraine raised many questions about Moldova's capacity to defend itself if the need arose. On February 24th, 2022, some of the first Russian bombs exploding in Ukraine could be heard as far away as Moldova's capital. Moldovans were shocked. Their country of 2.4 million people shares a 1,222 kilometer long border with Ukraine. Even though we are a small country, we are an outpost on the border with NATO and the European Union. Is Moldova in the EU? Uh, NATO. I don't think so. It's not a member of NATO. Easy pickings for Russia. Great. So there we go. That's 30. So now we know a little bit more about Moldova. Now we get a better insight into why we would want to cut $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. And again, I'm sure that's 32 million. It's probably 32 million over 5 years, right? So this is like tiny part of the budget. Okay, so there we go. 10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. Let's look up this bullshit. Let's see, news. Doge cuts male circumcision program. And the aim of this program, the voluntary male medical circumcision is one of 15 canceled. Previously, Elon Musk heads the new department, blah, blah, blah. Ready to announce 50 million in condoms for AIDS prevention. It's crazy. I don't know if we should send Mozambique suspension U.S. aid. The abrupt withdrawal of support compromises. He said the suspension is funding and also has implications for purchase. He stressed the importance of supporting maintenance of strategic priority health programs in Mozambique, such as the fight against HIV and AIDS and tuberculosis, among other diseases. All right, so there you go. Volunteer circumcision program in Mozambique. Who knows how long the period was that these funds were available for. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. It's a program. 20 million for a program. It's a program. It's 20 million for a program. So, all right. So let's recap. 10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. Okay, take it or leave it. It's probably not just for male circumcision. It's probably also for HIV prevention techniques. 20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. Yes. $20 million. Yes. $20 million. It's for a program. So, what we know about claims U.S. aid funded Sesame Street. Here we go. Let's see what Snopes says. Alan Simsim is both the name of a childhood development program and Arabic language TV show featuring Sesame Street characters. Oh, so, the claim appears to conflate, for those of you that don't know, conflate means to combine into one. So we're combining, right? Conflate a kids' TV show featuring Sesame Street characters and a broadcast in Arabic across numerous countries, including Iraq, with a USAID-funded educational project called Alan Simsim Iraq. An archive page from the USAID website shows the agency provided funding for Alan Simsim Iraq in 2021. The name Alan Simsim applies to both the TV show and an early childhood development program targeting families in conflict zones. The archived webpage said the agency would provide $20 million in funding to Sesame Workshop, the nonprofit behind Sesame Street, between July 2021 and June 2027. So $20 million for a program. $20 million. $20 million for a program. It's a program. Did you know it's a program? $20 million for the program. You guys know about programs? So, $20 million in funding over 6 years. So that's over, I mean, that's like a little bit over 3 million, right? A year. So a little over 3 million a year to promote an early childhood development program in Simsim in Iraq. A Sesame Workshop spokesperson said via email that the Alan Simsim TV show is funded separately from the Alan Simsim Iraq Early Childhood Development Program. They added that only the latter received U.S. aid money. So good. So only one of them. Okay. So, however, let's keep reading. Let me blow it up for you. However, USspending.gov, an open data source of federal spending information, only lists $18.2 million in obligated funding for Sesame Workshop during this period. One $13 million grant starting in July 2021, and one 5.2, according to spending, only 43 had been outlaid or paid out to the workshop at the time of this writing, meaning the rest of the funding was yet to be paid. So some come on the source. None of them provided context for the discrepancy between USAID and U.S. spending. Potentially Sesame Street Workshop would not confirm how much of the pledge funding was paid. Right. According to Sesame Workshop, the recipient of USAID's grant, USAID money, only funded the Alan Simsim Iraq Early Childhood Development Program. This program did include localized content which leveraged the existing show. However, the two initiatives, though bearing a similar name, are funded separately. Okay. So, I mean, this is for childhood development program in a small, recently war-torn country, bringing American childhood development programs to television shows in Iraq. A little over $3 million a year. What's the big fucking deal? I mean, so $3 million, that's probably like 0.03% of the budget, right? Okay, so that's that. It's a program. It is a program. And then finally, $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization Homes Committee headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacy Abrahams. Have you ever heard of her? So, yes, black woman. Black woman, we gave the black woman the money. Ooh, have you ever heard of her? She's probably a nasty woman, I bet you. I bet you she's a real nasty woman, that Stacy Abrams. So, anyway, so let's find out about that. Okay. Here we go. Let's Google this shite. Here we go. Trump's false claim that Stacey Abrams headed a group. Here we go. In his speech to Congress, wait, I gotta sign in. Don't look at my password. Shit. Oh, man. Oh, my God. How come I... Oh, it's the Washington Post. All right. I thought this was the New York Times. So... maybe we could do Reader. Let's see. No. Well, I can find it somewhere else. let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, the 1.9 billion to recently created decarbonization of homes committee headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacy Abrahams. Have you ever heard of her? Ooh, scary woman. This is exaggerated. Under the Inflation Reduction Act, a 2022 law, Congress directed the Environmental Protection Agency to grant money to organizations that, in turn, would offer loans to businesses, homeowners, and others to spur a transition to clean energy across the country, particularly in low-income neighborhoods. As part of that effort, the agency awarded $2 billion to Power Forward Communities, a coalition of 5 organizations that focus on decarbonizing housing. One of these groups, Rewiring America, stood to receive a portion of these funds. Ms. Abrams, a Democratic organizer and former candidate for governor in Georgia, served for 1 year as senior counselor to Rewiring America. She did not lead the organization. The Trump administration has frozen the money and demanded investigations by the FBI, the Justice Department, and the EPA's Inspector General. A career federal prosecutor who served 24 years at the Justice Department was asked to resign after she determined there was not enough evidence to open a grand jury criminal inquiry. So there you go. So Miss Abrams was a member of one of the 5 organizations. Did not head it up at all. But was a member of one of the organizations. So she didn't get that money at all. It's going to build probably carbon neutral housing for low income families. That would employ a lot of people. And there you go. And we know she's involved. Ooh, woman, have you ever heard of her? And then we could go on and on and on, but I just wanted to focus on this one little passage here. I've spent a good deal of time going over this. How long have I been live now? I forget. Let's see. I've been live since, oh boy. I don't know. It's probably been like about an hour. Yeah, it's probably been about an hour. I'm all worked up now. But anyway, that's basically all I really wanted to do today, was to go over this and to show you all, to show my 0 viewers this bullshit. And this is just one part, one little section of the speech, and filled with misleading claims, false claims, and outright lies. And that's the way it goes in our country right now. So yeah. So we'll just keep doing this. I think I can get off. I've done about enough for today. Thank you for watching, those of you who've tuned in, or those of you guys that are watching after the fact. Please, please, please protest. Please, please, please do your 5 calls this week. Please, please, please get involved. I promise I'm going to work on a little ditty at the beginning, a little news thing at the beginning. I think that'll be cool. I think it'll add some things to the program. I'm going to keep going and going and going and going. I'll be live tomorrow. And if you guys have any ideas for the show, please send me a message or comment in the video below. Please, please, please like and subscribe. I'm really trying hard to build this show. I think I've got something to say, and I think I've got, I think it's important to keep this dialogue going, and I think it's important to have input from people, and I'm gonna keep trying very hard to get the message out there and to keep doing this, and really create a space where we can talk and plan for the future. So yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back on tomorrow. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I'm just gonna go to the New York Times really quick to make sure nothing crazy's happening right now. Oh, here we go. In reversal, Trump suspends most new tariffs on Mexico until April 2nd. It's fucking insane. Trump wrote on social media that he was suspending tariffs on most imports from Mexico until April 2nd. He announced the exemption on goods covered by a trade pact he signed in his first term after a call with the president just 2 days after he incited a trade fight. And he's also preparing to sign an order that would instruct Secretary Linda McMahon to begin dismantling the education department. Yes. 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 This brings it all together from this video. Just laughing, right? Let's laugh. Let's laugh together.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's my government. I have access to all the files. I'm in charge of everything. And I don't know. I'm not going to put an effort into knowing what this program's all about. So please, please, let's celebrate my ignorance and let's all laugh together. Let's all laugh together.
$8 million to promote LGBT.
Yes, let's laugh at our ignorance. And then tomorrow we'll dismantle the Department of Education. Together we can do it. Let's do it. Laugh with me and bathe in the ignorance that is Trump. Please, please join me. Oh my God. I can't. I just can't. All right. Well, that does it for me. I don't want to keep reading. I gotta eat. I'm hungry. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me today. I love all of you 0 people that have been watching, and I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing it because I think it's important. The work is important and mysterious. So, thank you very much, and I will most likely see you tomorrow around the same time. Peace out. God help.